Well, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I am in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Emergency. We got snowed in. What can I tell you? Can people just tell me first off how the sound is? Are you frozen? Are you okay? Because this is from the hotel. Let me just check the communications here. You hear me well. Okay. And the Wi-Fi is okay. We're using my phone Wi-Fi. Can you believe a woman my age even knows what the word Wi-Fi means? I mean, come on. All right, blessings to you all. So, we have a couple things to talk about. I'm going to wait until the crowd shows up, and then we are going to give gratitude. Those of you who don't know, we're having brunch right now all over the world. Somebody gave me a comment saying that they liked me as a remote viewer. They just couldn't figure out why I was interested in what everybody was eating. Well, this is brunch. And so people have literally brunch. This is a virtual brunch. So I should establish that. This is a virtual brunch. So many of us are eating while we're talking. It's also an open floor forum as long as you're a subscriber to the channel. Um, so people literally are sitting at a restaurant or they're sitting in their home having uh, I don't know, whatever it is you guys are having. They're having their brunch, and we're all having an open dialogue conversation. So this is a salon brunch, and so what that means is that everybody is welcome to join us. We're egalitarians, right? Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you is the motto of this brunch. People from all over the world come together and have brunch here, and we talk about subjects that are of interest to us, politics, etc. The people that come to this brunch traditionally tend to be well educated, whether they have self educated themselves by reading a ton of books on subjects like metaphysics, etc. Or many in the group are professional teachers. That seems to be the majority of the people we attract are teachers. Um, so just people who love to learn. I think that is the common theme here. Somebody said, I was offended. You talked about being educated. I didn't say anything about graduating from a college. Just people who, you don't have to go to school to be educated. Go to a library. It's amazing to hang out at the library. It's free. No, it's just when I talk about educated, I mean people that love to learn, love to study the truth, and know how to be discerning. Uh, yeah, so that's what that's about. So that's the story with why we always ask people what you eating is because this is a virtual lunch. And I am your host. I am the hostess with the mostest. Like I said, I'm here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, and that is because my plane got canceled because of the snowstorm, which is the first thing I would like to share with you, is how grateful I am that the plane didn't crash. We have a good TSA. They keep everybody safe. Rather than putting people's lives at risk, they did not let the plane go off. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can afford 2 nights in a hotel with a bed and safety. And I'm grateful that I have friends in Los Angeles like Frances, my friend Frances, and she and I are going to go to the Black History Month LACMA exhibit for all you out here in Los Angeles. LACMA, Los Angeles County Museum of Modern Art, is going to be having an exhibit, so we're going to go see that. Then we're going to go have some of our own late lunch, and then maybe do a walk in the forest. So I'm grateful for that. I have friends who love me and I love them. Some of you are virtual. Somebody had said to me, well, why do you care about the people on the channel if you don't know them? They're complete strangers. No, they're not. I get to know them. They call me. We talk on the phone. We exchange addresses. I've eaten in their homes. And some of them, like Frances, have become dear, dear friends. Frances goes on vacation with me all the time. She'll actually be staying with me for the next couple of weeks. Lena Rodriguez, become a great friend. She'll be here in Portland. We'll be hanging out. So, no, we become friends. I've got friends in Italy now. It's awesome. Okay, so let's get started. First off, I want to turn the camera over to you. Tell me who you are, where you're coming from, what you eating. Share your beautiful weather with us if you're safe. Like I said, this is a virtual brunch, so be sure and say hi to the group. If you are a subscriber, tell us where you're coming from. Let's go. Hi, Donald Lambert. Good to see you. Hi, Ann Dillon. Ann Dillon's in New Hampshire. I guess they got snowed in over there. Wow, stay well. Hi, Kay. Kay is a good friend. Met her through the channel, and now we hang out all the time. She's here in beautiful Portland with me. Also, be sure and check out her channel. It's just getting started, and she's a great person. So, Anne Herman, hello, good to see you. LC, hi, good to see you. By the way, I want to apologize if I sound a little off. I have really bad allergies in Los Angeles. That's one of the reasons I had to leave Los Angeles. Y'all remember when I was having my allergy fits? So they're back. I took a little bit of something like half an Allegra, but I'm really sensitive, so I'm feeling like a little woo. I think I need some coffee. Anyway, so I've been rinsing my eyes. One of the things I like about Portland, Oregon is we don't get as much dust because it rains more often. Hi, Boz. Oh, I'm glad you guys can hear it. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you, Sarah Eschweller. Hi, thank you for your support. Desiree Rabato's in the house. Thank you for being a member. Deborah Brady, thank you so much for your help. I'm not in Mexico. I'm in Los Angeles, snowed in. Claudia Varias, good to see you. Oh, we have a $20 donation. We are playing today for AmericanForest.org. For every dollar you spend, it goes back to reforesting, foresting management in North America. We lost a lot of trees due to heavy winds, storms, flooding, and of course, fires in many parts of the United States, global warming. So we are raising money for AmericanForest.org, and I believe it's so frugal that for every dollar they're able to plant one sapling. So you also get to plant trees that will live on for hundreds of years, long after we are gone. So that's great. Gail St. John, thank you for being a member. Pier Walker, thank you for your help today. Okay, Roxanne, good to see you. All right, so breakfast today. I feel like I should lie because I was so off my diet, but what I really wanted for breakfast, because we have breakfast included, I went downstairs. I had a big bowl of fruit. That's the thing. What is it about? Has anybody seen the TV show yet? A White Lotus. In every scene at breakfast, they're all eating bowls of fruit. I don't care if you're staying at the Holiday Inn, if you're staying at the White Lotus, you get the same bowl of fruit. So you might as well save money and stay at the Holiday Inn. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I had the obligatory bowl of fruit, vanilla yogurt, non-fat, and cream cheese bagel. I can't say no to my bagels. Oh, and they had some of those cubed fried potatoes. You got to have a couple of those. I just carb out. Eggs give me a headache. I never do well on eggs. I'm trying to move, you guys know, towards more veganism. So I try to get my calories mostly from plants. All right. So is everybody ready to talk? Oh, I have to do one more thing. I have to give gratitude to those of you who've become members of the channel. It really helps the channel out. It really helps me out so that I can continue to do this stuff. And I'm actually going to be investing in some really nice sound equipment and stuff, learning a little how to do my better quality music videos for the show. So thank you all for the support. All right, gratitude to Salty AF. He, or they signed up as a fairy and an angel. RSA West, also fairy and an angel. Thank you, Sarah, so much. Carol Bastian is back again. She has re-upped. Thank you. As is Natalie. Thank you as well. 1111, please reach out to me at Whimsy Anderson at gmail.com. They have become a benefactor, and benefactors actually get free consultations with me once a month. So please contact me. Oh, and Elizabeth Fuller has become a fairy and an angel. Or an angel, wouldn't we like to know? Want to give also a shout out to the following Patreons. I do private little silly videos over at Patreon and occasionally other fun stuff. And it costs a couple bucks, and it's just a little something, something to keep me on my toes. Lori Kenton, thank you very much for being a patron. Donna Lineberry, thank you so much. It's always appreciated. And Paula McElroy, hope you liked the last video I did. If you're over there at Patreons, I did a little something on visiting the Aztec ruins. It was kind of cute. Okay, so now are we ready for some remote viewing? I think everybody's here. I think everybody's shared their beautiful meals, their not so great weather. So the first remote viewing I wanted to talk about had to do with transportation, actually, because this is something that I think we're going to be seeing a lot about. Now we're having infrastructure problems, and the severity of the infrastructure problems has to do with the fact that we have cut funding. We've cut funding on everything, right? So if you're competing for the best airline flight deals, which who doesn't want to go to Hawaii? Who doesn't want to go, to Paris for round trip, $250, right? So they're always running these deals, but you have to have the federal flight people come in. Remind me, is it the FS? What's it called? That the transportation for flying that can ground planes, and then you have TSA security. But what I saw when I went into the airline industry, just objectively, if you were to have that be the target, for those of you who are students of HCRV, have the current situation of commercial air flying, which is interesting that I did that remote while I was dozing off on a plane. But what we're seeing is the same thing we're seeing all over the country. This conservative view that we need to privatize everything and cut federal regulation. But when it comes to commercial airlines, people traveling by train, etc., how much should we cut that if it means, is the noise bothering you guys? I'll turn it off. Sorry about that. So what it felt like is that in order to compete financially, they are really taking risk with people's safety and the need to see more federal regulation. One of the first things I saw when I did the remote into American transportation, just in terms of flying, is that we have an inadequate number of pilots. Like we're operating, I don't know if this is public information, if anybody has talked about this, but we don't have enough pilots being hired. Like they could easily hire a quarter more of their pilot workforce, and that would be just barely adequate. So there's a deficiency of pilots, and it felt to me like it was mostly economic, like they didn't want to pay to hire a brand new pilot at a bare minimum. And so all of these cuts are to make things as affordable as possible for flying, but they're putting the country at risk because the pilots are overworked and can, put us at risk. So this is an example of cutting federal funds and the push towards privatization, which is exploiting workers, but it's also putting the country at risk. And then you go into the energy of our train system versus the trains you're going to see when you visit Tokyo. And you can see very clearly that we stopped funding these trains in the 70s and 80s, right around the time when they went to war against Jimmy Carter. And that, again, was a desire to privatize and begin cutting support for education. So that war with Carter about affordable education, the war with Carter about making sure that people had public health. I mean, even Nixon said we've got to have some basic public health for people. So I think it's something that's going to come up even more with this current president. I think that we can predict that the airlines are going to have to hike their prices tremendously. The president's talked about them not gouging the consumer to pay to sit next to your kid, but at the same time, the prices are so depressed in order to compete with one another. And so all of that has to get regulated. But if we have to pay an extra $50 or $100 for a ticket, I think we all have to just bite the bullet and do it if it means improving workers' rights and improving everyone's safety. So that is the big thing that I saw with transportation. Same with the railroads. They're in such bad shape where, some of those railroads haven't been changed since the 1920s and 30s. I mean, it's insane. That area where possibly this accident took place, you go into it as a remote viewer and you see spikes coming up and it's being derailed in parts, rusted and derailed. Some of these old tracks have been practically abandoned in terms of working responsibility. So to blame Buttigieg when we're talking about it's going to take us decades to catch up to where we should be. Any questions about that? This coffee helped. For whatever reason, coffee gets me to stop sneezing. I don't know. I think it must be the caffeine. So yeah, so that was the first vision, was just, coffee kills mold. It has insecticide properties, but I think it's a vasoconstrictor also. It's used for asthma. Anyway, it helped because I was sneezing. The other thing that I wanted to talk in terms of the second remote view had to do with Zelensky and what is currently going on with the Ukraine war. Remember when we went into the remote, we saw that when we went into the remote on China, the first thing we saw with China was that they were in an economic downturn that was pretty serious because they were not able to maintain their finances. They were behind for 2.5 years on their finances. They spent too much on real estate projects and now they can't fund them, either in China itself, but outside China as well. And so now they're being advised to sell off certain investments that are not making them profits in order to pay for the things that they've gotten behind on. So that's all of what's going on in China. Now, when you go, I want to be very specific here, and you can go ahead and document it because I let you call me out when I get things wrong. But this is the vision. So I want to be very clear here. China wants the contract. China wants the contract to rebuild Ukraine. You get me? So it's not just that she wants peace in Ukraine, but if she can broker a deal to get Russia out of Ukraine, who do you think is going to sign on for all that infrastructure and shake hands with Zelensky when they start to have all those contracts to rebuild Ukraine? Y'all smart people. Let's ask the people who are professional teachers who teach math in high school, grade school. Is there such a thing as a free lunch? So that's what I saw when I went into the remote. It's not war is costly, but you can make a fortune off of it if you get the contract to rebuild a country that's been decimated by war. So countries pour in aid, and then the aid goes directly to the Chinese government, which gets the contracts to rebuild. Because they have to get foreign product, and there'll be international bidding wars, and China will win it because they're desperate for cash. Now you all know. Now you all know. Cheers. L'chaim, l'chaim. Just some coffee, no sugar. Oh my God, it's helping. Also, when I stand by a window, I just sneeze and sneeze. I've actually been pretty good since I've been on. Well, I don't know if I don't know if I necessarily disagree with what she is saying, and if Zelensky is saying you get the bid because it's affordable in all these countries, metal and work, and everything that goes into rebuilding an infrastructure, and people are going to be bidding to rebuild those cities, why not give it to China if they win the bidding war, if their work is good? So I don't get that Zelensky is mad at Xi. He's shaking Xi's hand and saying, I appreciate what you're trying to do here. And I appreciate and I know why you're trying to do it. So does anybody else who can follow the bouncing ball, right? You guys, I can feel the light bulb going off, right? I can feel, talking to you all, that the coffee is starting to hit all of us about this. But so that's where we're headed. Now, here's the problem with that. There's going to be pressure mounting on Zelensky to agree to some kind of package. We heard Zelensky's side yesterday. We did a remote. He said, no, they want to establish peaceful industry, political offices, government offices permanently in Ukraine so that they can turn the next generation. Also, it gives them the right to invade at any time because and then what else did he say? Yeah, it was they want to be politically in. But what she is saying is we have to give Russia a dignified way of leaving rather than their tail between their legs. Here is what it looks like, though, to Zelensky, and I think that this is the thing to really hear. And that is, what you have done here, Russia, is so you came into someone's living room, raped and pillaged every stolen artifact from Ukraine, people's wallets off their dead bodies. You just came in a peaceful country and did this. And now you're talking about wanting to establish some kind of presence in our country or to stay in Crimea? Of course not. We are standing in a genocide because that never had to happen. So there's no dignified out. And that's what she has to understand here from Zelensky. You have to take your tail between your legs and your broken toys, and you just need to leave all of Ukraine. That is what Zelensky is saying. No, you may not. No, I'm not going to negotiate for you to have some of your government agencies established here, etc. Or free education programs. Um, yeah, so that's where Zelensky's coming from. All right, I think that, that is the situation. I would also say that from last night's remote, it looked like it was pretty much over. We're talking about Wagner, the mercenary group that was hired by Putin, has declared war now on Russia. So when you look at it from a remote viewer's perspective, they're in such bad shape, both in terms of the amount of money that Russia has lost, but also the number of lives, that China cannot afford. Why would China put themselves in this, given their financial situation? They're trying to get a dignified out and then negotiate for rebuilding contracts with Ukraine, because they need money for infrastructure for building, because they can't even finish the apartments in their own country. They need cash. They need to win that bidding war. It's a mess. All right. Yeah. So I think here the last thing I would say is that from Zelensky's perspective, he knows how bad they are. He knows that they have already lost the war, and so for that reason, there's no reason to make a deal with Russia. They will return. Excuse me. They will return back to Russia with their tail between their legs, and it's not Zelensky's problem. Let them be shamed. They should be ashamed. And that is most likely how it will end from Zelensky's perspective. The Russians will be defensive at first, but when the international trials, crimes against humanity start to hit, more and more Russians will accept the truth of what happened. And I don't see Putin being as dead as everybody, the other psychics have said. There's no documented evidence other than rumors, which could be coming out of the Kremlin. He does look bloated, like he has some kind of moon facies. He could have a Cushing syndrome from cortisol. It's all speculative, but to me, it always looks the same, like he's going to be protected by the Russian government, and that he will retire to his villa, which is AKA house arrest. All right. Oh, did Linda say something sweet? What a lovely woman. Yes. She's another one that gives all her money away. I think she is the Democratic Party at this point, right? She's like, well, there's another candidate I'll be giving my money to. You got to have a good heart if you're a remote viewer or you're a tarot reader. Otherwise, what's the fun of it, right? Oh, speaking of which, like I said, we are raising money for AmericanForest.org. For every dollar you donate, you get to grow one pine or whatever the tree is they're growing. And it helps repair the forest that have suffered due to the droughts, heavy winds, fires, etc. So that is our charity today. So if you would like to give birth to tree babies, please feel free to do so. All right, I'm going to do the Empath's prayer. Sorry about my allergies. I'm going to keep drinking water. Try not to sneeze. Would everyone like to hear a community prayer and reading? Get the Empath's prayer and the personal reading. Oh, the California reservoir is good. And with the new tree babies that are being planted, all that is good. Thank you. Anonymous has given birth to 20 tree babies, or 10 tree babies. We give them a mazel tov. May they grow up to be strong pine. That must have hurt when they were being born, but it was worth it. All right, let's do the empath's prayer. Say it with me. Y'all know it by now. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Amen, everyone. All right. What would Spirit like us to know at this time? Hi, Gigi. Hi, Glorious. Oh, I do have chamomile, Glorious. But what? See, I'm wondering if I'm allergic to chamomile because it grows wild here and sometimes it makes me sneeze. But they do have it here. This is my tea box. They gave you, they give you a tea coffee setup, and that's where I'm putting the computer. Huh. Maybe I will try some of the chamomile. Thank you, Sonia, for giving birth to 10 tree babies. Okay. Chamomile's an Asteraceae, and it has a yellow pollen, and some people will react to it. I think I might react to it when it grows in nature. Just the pollen, not the tea. Okay, where we are at right now, we are entering into a time where we are victorious in our wars. In life, we all go into war of one type or another. Sometimes we feel like we're at war with our teachers, right? We go to school, we want to become a nurse, a doctor, a therapist, whatever, the school of hard knocks, or we want to learn how to drive a car, whatever it is. Sometimes the challenge of learning is that we have a conflict with the very people that are our teachers. But at this time, we have victory. So from our perspective, I take it there are not a lot of Putin supporters watching the channel because we are victorious in our wars. Victory after tears. The karma was war. So we've been warring someone, we've been warring something, but we also have struggled to learn, struggled to do better. But whatever you were at war about, you win. Thank you, Anonymous. You're at a point in your life, there's something going on with you where you are about to take a huge leap of trust. It's never too late, right? Like I could spend the next 5 years bitching about the fact that I'm not a folk singer at 20, but it's a ridiculous thing to think about, particularly if you're a stoic. Now is the right time. You wouldn't have been able to have done your dream then. This is the right time to do your dream. So the fool takes the leap of faith now, because now is the time to take the leap of faith. I want to build an in-studio sound stage with the money I raise from the channel, right? It's going to run me, what, $500? Depending, so that because now is the time for me to play with learning music. It wasn't supposed to happen 30 years ago, honey. That's why it didn't happen for you 30 years. There are reasons why it's supposed to happen now. So Where you're at right now, you are victorious in things. You are giving yourself permission to be happy. Stop saying no to yourself. That's something that's come up in the past. So now you're actually entering into the time of the fool who takes a leap of faith. Watch habits. Oh my God, last night I went crazy on sugar. I don't know what it is about flying. Maybe that's why I'm having an allergic reaction. I went and I got myself one of those Snickers bars, Coke, and a Snickers. You know how much sugar is in that? So I know sugar's my addiction. A fool takes a leap of faith. You're going to be fine, whatever you're going for, but watch your daily habits. Be willing to say no if it doesn't meet with your standards. So say, for example, you decided this year you're going to get out there and start dating again. But it's okay to be a little picky. Same with if you're hiring somebody to do a job, or if you're hiring somebody to edit your script or your book, a co-writer, whatever. If you're hiring somebody, or if somebody's offering you something and it doesn't meet with your standards, this is a time of high standards. You know, Four of Cups is like, nope, I don't want it. I don't want it. Your standards are high, and that's okay. Some of you are going to be building businesses and projects. This looks like projects being built for many of you are going to be successful. Hold on to your coin until proven otherwise. So you can have a great romantic relationship, but if you're worried about fraud, or if you're worried about somebody taking advantage of you, or if you're worried that you're not going to be able to take care of yourself, it's okay. It's okay to be a little bit selfish and to protect your financial stream. Watch your coin. It's okay to have romance. You don't have to become legally married, and it's okay for you to just take care of you. Your wishes are coming true regarding anything you throw yourself into if you're willing to do the work. I see romance. Some of you are heading into romantic times. Hopes and fears that you live too much in the past. Don't waste any more years of your life grieving about the past, because those are years that could have been spent creating a great life now. Be present in the moment. Many of you are going to be traveling outside of your countries of origin. There's travel ahead for some of you, probably I'll say spring, summer of 2023, because the Three of Wands can be travel. It's also getting your wish. You had a wish card in your immediate environment, and final outcome is wish granted, which is the Three of Wands, waiting for your ship to come in, and it's a 3-month period. So I watched the show Under the Median. Oh, did my friend just... Oh, yeah, there's Kay. Hi, Kay. Good to see you. I watched the show Under the Median. If you're struggling financially, they will show you how to cook rice and beans that you can get for like $1 at the dollar store and make it taste great. These folks are excellent, but I treat it like a game, extreme frugality, where I just become as extreme. And then when you get down really extreme, you see how much more you can cut, And then you put that money towards your dream, whatever your goal is, whether it's to spend a week in Paris, or buy a new electric tricycle, whatever floats your boat. But these are cards that recommend pulling back a little bit and being willing to sacrifice for what you want, where you want your dreams, what you want to be investing in. Financially, it looks very good for you guys also in 2023. I'm not worried about the economy, even though you have Walmart cutting back. I think, again, it has to do with the new green economy, which is that if it doesn't sustain the planet or the worker, it can't survive. There are reasons why Walmart's in trouble, and they need to be in trouble. You take care of yourself. Check out Under the Median, learn to live dramatically below your means so there's always enough, and diversify that money towards your dreams in life. Like I said, if you want love and romance, it's available for you this year. And then your final outcome is rejoicing. Great cards, you guys, this week. Really good cards. Good luck cards. I'll tell you, though, some of you guys are struggling with your diets. I can see that. I don't get that you guys are drug addicts or anything like that. But a temperance card coming in like it always does with us. as the obstacle leads me to think that, being disciplined enough to exercise every day at the gym, or, if you don't have a gym, I'm lucky because I found a rent controlled apartment that has a gym. I'm very lucky. But temperance can also be, check out the book Atomic Habits. Taking positive steps every single day, little tiny incremental steps, atomic steps, can be really, really powerful. Yeah. Carb addiction. Yeah, can you believe that? That was what I craved when I got off the plane. I was tired. And I didn't eat lunch. I was in a long line having to reschedule. I was like, I need sugar. And they had one of those guest services. And I went in and I grabbed a Coke. I was starving. And I think my body just needed sugar. And you know how you get that shaky? I grabbed that and a Snickers bar. And some Cheetos. I love Cheetos. Oh my God. But then I went down and got a real breakfast this morning. I know. Can you believe that? And then I read your guys' comments because I'd put the Zelensky video up. All right. So whenever we get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. If you guys have any questions for me, I would love to answer them. Ooh, I stopped coughing. Keep drinking my water. Oh, yeah. Hypoglycemic when you start shaking. Yeah. The bowl of fruit cancels everything. I wasn't craving protein. Isn't that interesting? I was just carbohydrates. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, temperance is all about moderation, though. I don't think with the temperance, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to give something up entirely. I think it's more that you have to be balanced. Like, a small little Snickers. Snickers is my favorite. Come on, let's admit it. Snickers is so much better than a Milky Way. If you had a choice between a Snickers or a Milky Way, you would take the Snickers every time. It's just a fact. Best candy bar ever created. It has everything: chocolate, caramel, peanuts. Snickers all the way. Who here would go with a Milky Way? No. Snickers. All right. So I've gotten the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. See, everybody's voting Snickers. I'm very human. As soon as we get the call, we've got the call, and then we're going to start getting some questions. First one's coming in from Llama Bryant. So, what is Putin's chief? Oh, hold on. Head of Wagner Group taking on the Russian military leadership? Is there a power struggle going on? I would like to see this. Thank you for this question, because I think this is one of the things I wanted to throw on. I would love to see what the Wagner Group is going to do. Let's go in and try and see it from the perspective of Wagner, because I can always go in and look at my allies, but I think it's fascinating to look at the mind of my enemies. Oh, Almond Joys. Oh my God, I love Almond Joys. The Wagner Group. Okay. The Wagner Group feels that they are in jail. that they have been so restricted that their basic it's like they're holding them at the military fort and telling them not to do anything. They're not allowed to do their job. So part of why they feel that they lost this war, according to the Wagner group, Wagner, whatever you call them, is because they felt that they were restricted by a wishy-washy policies of Russia. This is their perspective. So let's go in and let's look at the cards. Their karma was to be in the barracks. Is that what you call it? The military barracks where the soldiers are actually being held in a military prison. So, so Wagner is contained. They don't have the right to do everything they want to do because the person's paying them is Russia. So they're contained. They're stay in the barracks. It has that kind of a feel. And here's Russia with the olive, with with the dove of peace. So what do you think when an ambassador card like the Knight of Cups is the ambassador that goes and brings gifts and is offering a truce? What do you and that's where Russia's holding. What do y'all think about that? What do you think about the fact that Wagner feels that they are locked in and forced to stay there while Russia is showing the Knight of Cups? Those are interesting images, right? A strong man of leadership is taking charge. People are confused. They don't know where the war is going. They're not getting adequate instruction. We don't know what's happening right now. Somebody has there is some plot amiss, and Wagner doesn't know what it is. I think it's negotiations for a peace treaty. Hopes and fears, work, employment. And then the final outcome is more fighting. So it could be infighting as well, 5 of Wands. So they feel like they're getting mixed signals. They feel like they're not allowed to do what they want to do. They feel that they're contained because of Russia. The fighting is going to come to an end. They're being fired. Wagner's been fired. You want to talk about it? That's the remote. That's what I see going in. They've been fired and nobody has told them. Isn't that a weird feeling? It's like when you're a waitress, but you're not a very good waitress. And has anybody been a waiter and you realize you're not on the docket? Like you used to be working 5 days, now you're working 2 days, and it's always the slow shifts. It's kind of a passive aggressive way of being fired. So that's how it feels to be a member of the Wagner group right now. This containment. They can't leave their barracks. They're being held up. They're being stuck there. What are we going in or not? Are we given our orders or not? Your orders are to stay put in this hold. That is how it feels. Meanwhile, the people that hired them, the people over them, Knight of Cups, they're bringing mediators, ambassadors to the front. So then the next question is, who the heck is this? Somebody who's a new general. He's a new kid in town, and he's 6 of Wands. He goes into battle to win. The reaction from Wagner, complete confusion about walking away from the war. 5 of Swords. Well, what's Wagner going to do? If they're being told you've been removed from the front, you're to go back to the barracks at such and such, they'll debrief you and you just stay there. Well, what's going on next? You just stay where you're at and you have no idea what the hell is going on. That's how it feels to me as the empath when I become part of the Wagner group. The hope and the fear is, do I have a job or don't I? Right? Which archangel is that? Those of you who are looking for work. Archangel Michael, Sword of Truth, battle, right? But for work, Archangel Gabriel, writing the script is Gabriel. The and artists are not depicted historically as lazy. You know, you always get the lazy artist imagery, but art was associated with work. It was one's work to be. Well, you think about also great writers like who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? No, was it? No, what was it? Was it Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or Still Life with Woodpecker? Who wrote Still Life with Woodpecker? He's a great writer, but he talks a lot about the work of writing. That writing is unbelievably disciplined. So that's also Archangel Gabriel. So the art is the work, right? But it's not like you get to go have fun and be an artist. Rather, it's considered hard work. Anyway, Archangel Gabriel comes to bring the work, and then Ten of Swords over the work. This is the nature of the work. So Wagner is angry and frustrated. Five of Wands, infighting regarding what? The Knight of Pentacles, who is the knight that sits on the Clydesdale and goes absolutely nowhere. So it's over. And you can see here also it's over. The confusion by Wagner, walking away from the battle. And then the work being, you know. So I think that basically they got pulled out. They're being pulled out. That's the best way for me to describe it. I would love to see how the papers describe this in the coming weeks. But I can tell you as an empath, as a remote viewer, it looks like they're being pulled out and contained. Oh, really, Sam? Thank you, Sam. I think Sam is one of the people that knows what they're talking about. I can't. I got a job to do. I can't sit and read the news all day long. Which in a way is kind of good. I have some general knowledge, but for example, I didn't know. I should know more about what Bolsonaro did to indigenous peoples in Brazil. But evidently, when you got into Bolsonaro's energy as a remote viewer, it looked like he seriously thought he was going to go to prison for crimes against humanity. So the severity to which he was being investigated was news to me. Oh, I know, Helen. It's snowing in Portland, Oregon. And why did Trump go to Ohio? Because he's trying to, he wants to be the Republican candidate. But I get the impression, to be honest with you, that people have lost interest in him. Yeah, he's just not getting the crowds he used to. People like Nikki Haley, she's been doing well. All right, Lama Bryant, are you seeing Finland and Norway closing off the airspace over northern Ukraine? What would be the final endgame for Russia? I feel like Russia's lost. I mean, I went in last night and it looks like just complete disaster, like a madman strung out on God knows what, comes in, massacres, destroys a bunch of law-abiding people in their own country. The sheer insanity of it is what Zelensky wanted us to see. And then the person has the audacity to say, well, do you mind if I just take the house next door? The other thing that Zelensky was saying was he had a message for the Russian people. This is something I forgot to mention last night. And what he said was, if there is anything in your home that was stolen from from a Ukrainian family, if anybody in Russia currently has some souvenir from the war that you think is funny or cute, somebody's coat or shoes or their children's toys or whatever else you stole, we're going to find out about it, and you're going to be personally held responsible for that theft. So if you want to be decent, now that the war has come to an end, we'd like you to ship all that stuff back, please. Jewelry you stole people's jewelry, you went into their homes, you stole their stuff. If it's now in your home, you're a thief, and you need to return everything back to Ukraine. People's jewelry was stolen. People's cars were stolen. Their wives raped and killed. So it's not enough that you drag your psychotic selves back to Russia with our stuff. You need to return it all, because that too will be part of the war trials. So that is a message that needs to go to the Russian people. You got a cute little diamond ring, you've got whatever, it all needs to come back. It doesn't belong to you. You did not have the right to take it. Okay, let's look about the future of the Ukrainian airspace. We had talked about the fact that NATO and Sweden would come in. They are doing evacuations and using medical aid, and they have been joining NATO, moving towards joining NATO. I think we are going to see less resistance from Turkey because Erdogan is losing power in Turkey. Okay, Finland. Well, Finland feels exactly the same as Zelensky, that this is a cancer that needs to be contained, that the West and democracy is being threatened, that they are crazy, they are a cancer. This feels like a true shame for Russia. They cannot win this war. They've already lost the war. They need to turn their tails and return. They're starting to pull back Wagner. We just saw that from the remote. And we saw from Zelensky, they have to return everything they stole. You don't get to keep it. Oh, well, they're dead, so we can keep it? No, you have to return everything back to the families. And it is the responsibility of the Russian government. If you have to go house to house, so be it. In terms of Finland, they're establishing very strong ties that are going to, last forever with Ukraine. It has solidified their commitment to establishing permanent military ties with Ukraine, building a partnership, building the fence, building a defense, and building contracts and building cities. Contracts for Finland. It has made the relationship between Finland and Ukraine much stronger than it has ever been. They share political and democratic ideals, the Hierophant. They are very optimistic about their future relationship. There's a shared knowledge and sciences between them. Entrepreneurship, businesses being set up, more IKEA stores maybe. The wars in the past. The war is dying down. It's over because Russia collapsed economically. It's already ending, even if it's not public information. By April, the last of the troops will probably be gone, according to Finland. There's a new leadership coming in for Russia. This man comes again, the King of Wands, possibly a military person who negotiates the withdrawal. There's more jobs coming in to rebuild Ukraine, and that means contracts for everyone, including Finland. The hopes and fears is that if we don't rebuild Ukraine, it could lead to an economic collapse or economic problems for all of the West. And so every country needs to come in and help with the rebuild, and also seeing about new contracts because of fear of the economic cost of Europe. The final outcome here is a strong treaty of peace and brotherhood between Finland and Ukraine. Sixth cup. Economic stability between Finland and Ukraine. Romance. Another 6. Economic support. Finland offers economic support and loyalty. Very strong relationship between these two countries for generations. Excellent. A lot of, boy, with those cards, whatever the contract is, business, military, political, democracy. And it also shows a switch on the part of Ukraine towards more Western ideologies, which is great because Ukraine has struggled with fascism, anti-Semitism is quite bad. A family that we came from there a couple generations ago. So this shift towards tolerance, democracy, moving away from racism, etc., moving towards a more stable democratic country for Ukraine, which also strengthens Finland, international efforts for the entire West to pour money into Ukraine, because ultimately it will come back to the West in terms of creating a strong Western alliance and a strong economy going forward. China benefits because they also get contracts to rebuild. Russia is shamed and in pretty bad financial situation until and will be so until it has new leadership, which it will pull out through the military. That's the future. All right, we're going to go ahead and close today because we're already at noon. Does anybody have a last question? One more blitz before we leave. Looks like it's coming from Karen. Hi, Karen. We were doing a reading about your part of the world. You're in Sweden, right? So close. Will the Eastern Russian Church return to the Ukrainian Eastern Church their stolen objects? Well, yeah, I mean, that is really, you hear Zelensky talking. These are things that we in the West don't even think about. Imagine just being a law-abiding family. Someone comes into your apartment, rapes and kills your daughter, rapes and kills your wife, steals their jewelry and personal effects and marches it back to wherever, and then thinks that they can keep it. Of course not. It doesn't belong. It's like the Holocaust. The Nazis stole artwork and jewelry. A lot of that stuff never got back to the families. Of course, it has to go back to the families. It's not even up for debate. And what Zelensky is saying here is, even if we had a just government come in after something like that, I would, if I were leader of Russia, I would make a public announcement and saying, if you believe that you may have stolen artifacts, we're not going to prosecute you, but you have to return them to your local police station. If anything, and then you've got to go to every single pawn shop. Where did you get this? And start penalizing pawn shop owners. And you take anything and everything you can, and you document everything through the police stations, and you return it back to the archive people in Ukraine and let them sort it out. Which is pretty much what Israel had to do. If you look at the Yad Vashem projects, and some of the victims, they wanted their art to be displayed at Yad Vashem as a memorial. But the point is that you're going to have to do something like that. You can't keep that stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. As for the churches, it's even more horrific because these were supposed to be believers that did this. I mean, so let's take a look at the relationship, which is pretty awful, between Ukraine and the Russian church. And the fact that the Russian church, they were completely okay with it, because the mobsters, the killers, the criminals, and the mafia went and stole all this stuff like pirates and gave it, oh, we forgive you because you're giving it to the church. What? That's insane. Who would want to be a part of a church like that? Can you imagine that your church acts like that? No. There's going to be an attempt by the Russian Orthodox Church to barricade the stolen stuff. So that means it's going to be hiding in basements. It's going to be hiding in locations so that the authorities can't get it. There's an attempt to trick the authorities or hide these artifacts. The trickster comes, the magician, over the issue, and the Queen of Cups, still dreaming. They will attempt to, the Russian church will attempt to hide the documents. They will deny their existence until there will be a vested effort to hide stolen goods by the Russian church. The only way that it's going to be exposed is if people inside the Russian church that know about these hidden artifacts starts reporting it. Hidden and protected. And the Russian church is saying that it belongs to the Russian church and they're taking it back, and that they feel that they have a right to take it back because it's been there since the times of, say, Ivan the Terrible or whatever. So what they're saying here, and what the vision is that when the Russian church began relationship with the church in Ukraine, they brought artifacts, gifts, etc., going back hundreds of years to Russia. And so they feel that they have a right to take these possessions back, that they are the true owners of some of these possessions. The most valuable Bibles, if an original version can be traced back to, say, Russia or the Russian church, it will be stolen and returned. If there's gold over it and they found it from Peter the Great or something like that, they will snatch it and say, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to us. They're going to have to battle it out in international courts with evidence, and some of the stuff the Russian Orthodox Church will prove ownership of and be able to keep, because its origins do in fact come from the church. It's one of those frustrating things, because you receive a gift, according to what they're telling me here, 300 years ago, and you establish a church, and you have a beautiful icon like this ancient text, and it's something that's admired, and then they smash everything up, they steal it, they take it back to Russia. You say, could you return our stuff? No, because we're the ones that gave it to you and we're taking it back. So there's a little bit of that, which becomes so they don't get everything back through the courts. Yeah. Wow. So what do y'all think? These are some deep remotes, some deep stuff we're learning today about why, the horrors of war, and how petty the church can be, and this growing rift in this, a culture I know very little about, right? The rift between the Ukrainian church and the Russian church, and who knew that these artifacts went back so far. And but when you go deeply into this, that is precisely what they're saying. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for your donations to AmericanForest.org. If you still want to be donating to that great organization after we get off air, I think it's going to be available for donation, I think, until the end of the month, until the end of December, or February. So a couple more days. All right. I want to give a special shout out to Debbie Brady, lovely woman, very helpful. She's been taking good care of me. I appreciate you. Also, a special shout out to Melissa Miller. Thank you so very much. Kay Travel, my girl. Good to see you. Thanks for your help. Geocosmic Valentine, thank you so much. Geriatric Brig, thank you so much. Did I get to everybody who moderated today? Pierre Walker, thank you, Pierre Walker. And Twix. Oh, you guys got into quite a conversation about your favorite candy bars. Twix are good, yeah. Peanut butter M&Ms, yum yum. Almond Joys, absolutely, love it. All right, love and light to you all. I'll be back on Tuesday. Also, Tuesday night is a very busy night. Wait a minute. Did you guys, those of you who take remote viewing, did you pick Wednesday? Because that might actually be working better for us. Anyway, so Wednesday, 6 p.m., if we're doing remote viewing class at that time, 6 p.m., I think that's what you guys requested. Anytime is fine, so long as, but I guess more people wanted Wednesday. I am really excited about the lecture we're going to be doing on heart-centered remote viewing. I guess it's going to be Wednesday. Wednesday, 6 p.m. We are talking about really learning how to tune in to your senses on Wednesday, how you can feel the clenching of your gut when you are digesting information from a target, all that intense work that comes into letting yourself feel the sensations when you are a remote viewer, that whole sensation techniques and how to perfect the awareness of the sensations in your body. That's going to be what we talk about on Wednesday. If you'd like to get credit to get certified as a remote viewer, you have to show proof of attending at least 10 lectures by keeping your notes and by answering simple, I think, what would you have, 20 questions on required that we want you to know when you practice HCRV. I think Wednesday, Wendy, because I think you were one of the people, more than half, everybody wanted Wednesday. A lot of people can't, for whatever reason, can't do Tuesday. It's up to you, Wednesday. I think people said 6 p.m. because on the on the West Coast, people said they were still coming back from work. And so Wednesday, 6 p.m. it is. All right. Love and light to you all. If you're trying to get in for a reading, I will be back on Tuesday. And you guys were fun. Thank you so much for your love and support. It'll be 9 p.m. East Coast. Is that too late? 6 p.m. Yeah, that was perfect. I think that was what people picked. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.